Today, I am here with Ace, who is a Houston-based floral artist and owner and creative director of the Fulshear Floral Design. He began his floral journey in 2007, but most recently, you would have totally seen Ace on HBO Max's original series, Full Bloom, where he was a finalist. Ace is also the 2019 Texas Designer of the Year by the Texas State Floral Association, and he was also inducted into the American Institute of Floral Designers in 2015. And most recently inducted into the Professional Floral Communicators International in 2019. Ace, I feel like I'm going to be interviewing a celebrity.
I am not. I'm not a celebrity. All I am is a florist. Just a
Okay.
florist.
Oh, and a finalist on a national televised TV show, Full Bloom. You're so modest.
I've had people ask me about that, and all I had ever wanted to be was a florist. So it's very weird to have that now. The finalist, and I always just tell people, like, I'm just a florist. That's all I am. I just want to do flowers. So.
And now, Ace, you have such an interesting background. And for anyone who's not familiar with Ace, who actually isn't watching this video recording, Ace is not your typical what you would think of florist. In fact, he is, I don't know, how would you describe yourself, Ace?
I always describe myself as that I am the person that you would see at the door of a bar or behind a bar pouring drinks or in the oil field, which is what I used to do. I mean, I'm 6'2" and 300 pounds and I'm covered in tattoos. So I don't fit into the box of what people think that a florist should look like.
But I love, like, you're so stylish and you own it. Right now you have the coolest, like, white hat on with your, like, green apron. I'm actually have FOMO. I actually want this look.
I love fashion. I love style and stuff like that. So when I was younger, I've always been a bigger kid, and I had people like, oh, you can't be stylish because you're a bigger kid. So I own my size. I'm happy with what I look like and how I look. I just always wanted to present myself in a stylish manner. So I always try to mix things up. Like today, I'm in khaki shorts with some Converse low tops, and I'm rocking a fine art shirt, to be honest, underneath this. So
you are so stylish, and that's something that we do have in common. We both love fashion, but like I said, you're giving me major FOMO at the moment. I need to step up my my game here. So you came from the oil fields. Please tell us, when did you fall in love with flowers? Like, what did that look like for you?
So honestly, the first time I fell in love with flowers, or the first time I kind of knew that I loved flowers, was in probably 1999. I was a delivery driver at a small town shop in Victoria, Texas. And I was a horrible delivery driver, the worst. And what's crazy though, is that I saw how people would look at me when I handed them flowers. And when they were at their lowest, they still find a way to smile at you. And they're happy to see you because you're giving them a perishable product at that. And it just really, it struck me in my heart. And for it was probably 7-8 years, I took that with me. And once the oil field kind of went down and I got laid off, I sat back and I looked and I was like, I think I want to do flowers. I never designed, I'd never done anything, but I just knew like how it made me feel to see people at their worst, how happy they were to still see you.
That's one of the things I fell in love with the floral industry as well, is there is a season for everyone, and it's always associated with flowers, whether it's birth, weddings, funerals. And like you said, you can really make a significant impact on someone just through the art of floral design. Yep. Now, one thing that we know is that 2020 has affected so many different people on so many different levels. How has 2020 changed the way that you do business now in 2021?
So 2020 was the year of the pivot, as I fondly call it, the year of the pivot. What I realized was I was actually in the middle of filming Full Bloom when we all got sent home, and I had my shop manager running my store, and everything was for 2020 was shaping up to be like a really fantastic year. And then when I got home in March, it was literally like someone took the rug and just pulled it out from underneath us. The event industry, the floral industry, all of us were just kind of left with flowers, and we just didn't know what we were going to do. And all of us worrying about our businesses. Um, so I sat back for a week and started kind of watching. And what I realized is that kids were going to be stuck at home. Moms were going to be stuck at home with these children. So what I did was I provided a kids kit, and I made different little videos for kids to do flowers at their house so mom could have a break. And I also did it for adults. And I just learned how to pivot and kind of move my business in different directions that needed so I could be sustainable for when it does come back.
I love that. I think that is so genius because you had to quickly, like you said, I took a week break too. You had to take that break and just kind of reevaluate the situation, realize what had been lost, but at the same time, realize what opportunities had opened up that were really low hanging fruit. And it sounds like you did such an awesome job pivoting. And I just applaud you on that because that takes a lot of grit, and grit is not something that everybody has.
Yeah, what's crazy is I knew nothing about how to film things or edit things. During that time, I taught myself how to edit a video and a how-to video at that, how to add in the subtitles and the subtext and everything, which was something that I thought was so far out of reach. But I just sat down. I was like, I've got to do this. If not, my business is going to leave, and I'm going to be left here with nothing. And I just couldn't bear that. So I sat up at night and I would edit videos, and I would try to make it as perfect as possible. And it just worked out. I really just kept trying. And, if a video didn't act right or look right, I would redo it, and I would redo the editing. And then I would shoot it 2 or 3 times so you could see my hands instead of me designing from here. I do it where the camera is over my hands and you can see designing. It was a really awesome learning process. So
Yeah, and I think it's such a valuable skill, especially now, like content creation isn't just for content creators anymore. I mean, really, as small business owners, if we're looking to continue evolving and connecting with our ideal client and in growing our community, content creation is key to keep making that happen. Now, I
oh
have a
yeah.
question for you because you are the guru. You own a floral business, you have a brick and mortar shop, you've been on a very famous television show, making it all the way up to the finalist, which is amazing. Tell me though, what is one thing about the floral industry that really bothers you?
um I think what bothers me, I think the most about the floral industry is probably education. I think there's a lot of I think there's a lot of good education, but I also believe there's a lot of bad education out there. And trying to see what is what is a really tough thing, because you're there's a lot of people that get into the floral industry that instantly they're like, we're going to do $100,000 weddings, and that's how much we're going to make. I think that a lot of people are led to believe that it's such a glamorous life when it's not. It's a lot of back breaking, long nights. Your hands are swollen, your feet are swollen. Work, it's hard. It's a very hard job. And it's honestly, I think it's hard to do if you don't really love it too. So I think that's probably my biggest pet peeve, is when people think that it's just so glamorous. That's the hard part, because it's why it is when you're setting up stuff and you look pretty and we're stylish and we're making things perfect for their wedding or whatever it is. You don't see the behind the scenes stuff of how hard we actually work, and the late nights, and the mental stress that comes on to pay the bills and to keep everybody going. And there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't see. So it's not just playing with flowers.
I agree wholeheartedly. I had no idea. I started my business 6 years ago, and I had no idea how labor intensive it was going to be. I had no idea that I would get things called like wedding hangovers, event hangovers, Valentine's Day hangovers, the issues you have with staff, insurance, just like I'll never forget buying my first van and realizing that your insurance premium goes up several $100s a month, which didn't account for that. It's just, there's always something to keep you on your toes. And in fact, actually the floral design aspect of being a florist is like the smallest percentage of the pie to make it happen.
Yes.
And yeah, not a lot of people understand that. They think they get in, they see whatever they've seen something on Pinterest or Instagram. They want to duplicate it. They want to just do some styled shoots and then expect like 100K weddings to come through because they took a course or whatever. And there's just, I'm with you on this pet peeve. It's blood, sweat, and tears, honestly, and lots of thorns.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really weird because when I first got into the industry as a designer, I remember like looking back and I'd see all these, what I deemed was like these famous florists. And I didn't have the clue of what they actually went through. And then after going through it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really, really hard. But what I learned from all of that was the more organized you are, the better off you will be.
Absolutely.
So
now that we know that organization is key to our success ultimately, and also pivoting, especially during challenging times, what makes you feel inspired to keep going, to keep designing? Where do you draw your inspiration from?
So that's a weird question because I kind of draw my inspiration from a lot of different things. I am definitely like an urban, definitely super urban. So I see all kinds of stuff. I see graffiti and I get inspired by it. I want to go and put flowers with it. And I love stuff like that. What else inspires me is when new people actually get into the industry and they love it and they love flowers. Like to me, that's one of the most beautiful things is when you see someone and they are just starting on their flower journey and they absolutely love it. And everything they want is like what I've done already. And they're trying to soak it in. They're like a sponge and they're just eating up as much as they can. So I love that stuff. And the other thing I'm super interested in and inspired by is teaching people. I want to teach people. I want people to love flowers as much as I love flowers. So I think that just is an inspiring thing to have that. You know, there's so many things that are wrong in this world. If flowers can help just kind of right it just a little bit, we will be in so much of a better place. You know, so I
agree.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, flowers really do. I always talk about the impact that flowers can make on space, especially when designing for hotel lobbies or, events and weddings. I mean, can you imagine going to a wedding and you walk into the room and there's like not a flower in sight? So flowers impact space, but they also impact people. And I love the fact that you bring that up and you've just shared your love of flowers. And I feel like people who are listening, who saw you on Full Bloom, really felt that passion and that love of flowers. Can you give us a little bit of the behind the scenes of what it was actually like to be on Full Bloom from, how did you actually sign up to be on the show? What was your experience with the show? And maybe like one big life lesson that you learned walking away.
So how I got on the show was they actually found me. I didn't apply until they had found me and we talked like 3 or 4 times and then I applied. As far as being on the show, I thought the show was amazing. I looked at it as an opportunity, a once in a lifetime opportunity. If I never got this opportunity again, at least I got it once. So I made the best out of the situation that it was. It's like, you're letting me for 1 month design the most beautiful things, the most large scale arrangements I can. And I get to do it while you're filming me. I was like, yeah, count me in. So I took that, like, I looked at it like a job. I went in there like it was a job. And I wanted to give them my all. I wanted to give them my best, no matter what it was. Like I was going to work and work hard at it. And I wanted to be there. And the thing that I took away from it is that you don't always have to be named a winner to win. Being that I am an old athlete, an old football player, so I am uber competitive. And it's the first time in my life that I was really okay with not being said that I was the winner, because I knew that I'd won in a different way. So to me, that's what it's something I took away that was probably the most magical and the best thing I took away from it is that I didn't have to win $100,000 to be a winner. I made new friends that are now family. Um, I got to see things that I would never get to see it before. I got to experience something most likely I'll never get to experience again. So that's what I took away from it. I looked at it like it was, like a precious gem that someone gave me. So I just wanted to use it for what it was.
I love that, Ace. I always love talking to you. You are so positive. I also have a motto that's very similar. It's if you're not winning, you're learning. So for me, there's like
Yeah.
no real thing about, I mean, failure is definitely a thing, but it's not,
Yeah.
that's not the two benchmarks here. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah. It was you hear me start there like, Ace, how do you feel? And I'm like, I said it right then and there. I was like, I didn't have to win. I already won. I won in a totally different way. And to me, that was like a very beautiful thing because being that I'm so competitive, usually I'm very upset if I lose. I don't like losing at Connect Four, solitaire. It doesn't matter what it is. I hate to lose. But to be okay with it and to like come to a place of like of complete joy and happiness was literally the most gratifying and fulfilling part of my experience there. And when I was creating my final room, I was literally that was like the best designing that I've ever felt because I was designing from a place of complete joy and happiness.
Yeah.
So
And you could see that and you can feel that because it's also an energy. So it was
yeah.
such a pleasure to watch you on the big screen and now be able to chat with you all about your experience. And someone like you, I mean, you've been doing this for a very, very long time now. Like flowers are your specialty. You live and breathe flowers every single day. You obviously have a love of flowers. What would you say is your best advice for creating strong and long-term partnerships between, say, a hotel and the florist?
Um and I'll just to be honest about everything. I think transparency is such a beautiful thing. Um People understand if something doesn't come out correct. What they will not understand is dishonesty. Honesty is it's a beautiful thing. Hey, this messed up and they couldn't get in, but we pivoted to this and it's just going to look just as beautiful. People love that. And build the loyalty and build it with each other. So I don't do a ton of hotel work, but I do a ton of weekly arrangements for dental offices and restaurants and stuff like that. So what I've built in with them is that they're going to get the best me every week. I'm also going to, if it looks bad, all you have to do is call me. I'm going to be over there within 10 minutes and I'm going to fix it. That's what you get when you use me as your florist in my area. That's I want to put out the best product in my area. And I think that's what just you have to do. You have to build that rapport. You have to let them know that you're with them. Y'all are in it together and you're willing to do whatever it takes to make their product look that much better.
I'm really happy you brought this up because it is a true partnership. I actually just had a student in the hotel florist profit method who had a similar issue. She's a hotel florist. It's a very well-known hotel. And over the holidays, she gave the responsibility to one of her team members to walk the hotel on a weekly basis and didn't really follow up. And then went in a couple months later and just saw like the hotel was really in disarray. The flowers didn't look good. And they're under new management and under new brand now. She's up for review and she was really in a panic. And I just said, look, own up to it. It happens. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
all human. Schedule an appointment. Don't write an email. Don't call. Schedule an appointment. Sit down with that person. Explain to them what happened and explain to them that it won't happen again because you have learned a valuable lesson and that you
Yeah.
really value their business. And that person probably won't even think twice about it because especially in the hospitality industry, I mean, how many times have we personally had issues staying at a hotel or, eating out somewhere and we were been really disappointed. And if they just simply owned up to it or, acknowledged it, it's like all is forgiven. So I'm so happy that you have brought this up because you're right. Owning up to our human experience and delivering the best service possible is what creates really strong and long-term partnerships.
Yeah. That's I mean, I have one of the bigger funeral homes here in the Katy area, and they all have my personal cell phone number. I've gotten calls at midnight on Sundays. Said, "Hey Ace, this is what's going on. Can you be here at 7 o'clock in the morning?" Yes, I can. That partnership that I've done with them has turned into, also during 2020, when it was the year pivot, that all of the funerals that I was doing is what honestly kept me alive through the summers.
Mm,
And that's what, it's a partnership. It really is. Like, you scratch their back, they scratch yours, they're there for you, you're there for them, no matter what it is.
I
And
agree.
I just think you have to have that.
Now, when it comes to working with these corporate clientele, whether it's the hotels, the restaurants, the dental offices, like corporate accounts in general, how do they determine their floral budget? For a florist who's looking to go in and bid or to pitch to them, oftentimes they'll get the response, "I'm not telling you," or "We don't have a budget," which we both know is just not very helpful information. How do you, in your experience, how do you feel that they're determining their floral budget?
So so my dental office one that I do is 3 arrangements. They're $25 each. They started out with their budget, and how I found out their budget was, they were like, "We have a very small or limited budget, if any." I was like, "Okay, I'll work within your budget. You tell me what you're comfortable with, and I'll work within it." And it started out as just a $25 arrangement, which is not a huge arrangement, but I didn't give them a vase. I used the vase every week, a new one, and so I wasn't out the cost of the vase or anything like that. But it turned into now $150 every week. And it started with a $25 arrangement, and now they have 6 $25 arrangements. That's the kind of thing. They might start small, but it doesn't mean that it's always going to be small. So don't feel bad if you're starting out at $25. A lot of $25 arrangements add up real fast.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I just turned it into, I started with the restaurants, and I would see what they kind of had. I'm like, I would go in and I would present it all like, "This would look so much better if you had this arrangement here." And they will ask how much it will cost, and I'll always, "Okay, it's going to cost $150. Let's try it. I'll do 1 for 1, which is, you pay 150 and I'll give you one too." And sooner or later, they got so much like publicity off of it and people saying that they loved it, that it just turned into an everyday deal for the restaurants too. You have to be willing to gamble on yourself. And lots of times it's scary when you're putting your own money in, and it's risky, but you're not going to let yourself fail. You're going to work that much harder because you are taking money away from yourself to pursue this. And it will work out. I know it doesn't think you at first, you're so scared and you don't want to do it because you're scared, but you have to.
I agree. I can't tell you how many times I've bet on myself, and I've always say nobody's going to invest in you. Like, you have to invest in you. And if that's something that you want, if that's like what you want for your business in 2 years, or if that's a client you want to work with, sometimes you have to put some skin in the game. And a lot of times when you put that skin in the game, it actually catapults you faster to the level of success that you want to achieve. So I'm so happy that you brought this up. Last question, Ace. I know you're busy, being a floral celebrity and all, so thank you so much for being on the show. I always like to ask a fun question, and I'm really torn which one to ask you, but I'm going to ask you if animals.
Let's do both.
Okay. Okay. My first one would be, if you had, what would you name your boat if you had one?
Probably Steady Bloomin'.
I love it.
When I was younger, I had a jet ski that I literally, and I named it, which people really don't name jet skis. I've always been kind of eccentric with little things like that. And so I named it Putting on the Ritz. And it was a jet ski. So Probably Steady Blooming or something like that.
I
Coming
like
Up
Steady
Roses.
Bloomin'.
I have, or Coming Up Roses. I don't know, something cliche that has to do with the show.
Okay, so when you get your yacht, I'm going to make sure that it says that on the back.
Yeah.
Okay, and if animals could talk, which animal would be the most rude?
Definitely a poodle.
Oh yeah.
A poodle. Definitely a poodle. Not a labradoodle, because that's what Gus is. My baby boy is a labradoodle, but just like a full purebred poodle, I think would definitely be. They prance. They walk around like they're better. I think
It
that,
would definitely be rude.
yeah, I could just see it, like really blingy necklace. Yeah.
I agree with you 100% on this one. So Ace, I know that you have something really cool coming up. It is a floral retreat. Can you tell us more about it? Tell us like what it is, when it's happening, how can people find it and get involved?
So a couple years ago, a friend of mine, Patience Pickner, and I started a design team called Inspired Designs. And it was to help florists that are just getting in the business or have been in the business or just need a breath of fresh air to come together and take a class or do some type of retreat where you're just designing for yourself for once. So we started out doing this retreat, and it has turned into people asking us how to do social media content and how to set up styled shoots and just different things. And it's just a way to kind of get back to your love of flowers and the joy of flowers and designing for yourself, but also being educated at the same time of how to kind of grow your business. We all are going through something, and we're a lot stronger together than we are apart. So it's just one of those things that building yourself a community of people that you don't have to be shy. You don't have to be scared to ask these questions that, lots of times when you see on some of the floral forums that are out there, people are very nasty about when you have a question, and this is a question you really probably need to know the answer to, and they're just ugly about it. So it's one of those things. It's a safe space for you to ask the questions and learn and design and be happy. You can find it at inspireddesigns.info. It's $1,500, but right now you can get in for 1,000, and it's 3 full days, June 7th, 8th, and 9th. And at the end of it all, it's a brand new venue in Austin, and we're doing a floral runway show.
That's fantastic. And how much time is this $1,000 price good for? How long are you running this special?
We have, I think, 5 spots left.
Ooh, okay. So very time sensitive. So if you're listening and you're like, I need a safe space, I need to like hone in my skills, I definitely want to learn how to package my business so it's a little bit more social media friendly, then this is totally for you. This floral retreat, get in there now, 5 spots left, $1,000. That's awesome. And which venue is it in Austin again?
It's going to be oh my gosh. Now it's literally on the tip of my tongue.
I've put you on the spot.
High Point Estate. There you go.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
They're brand new. Like I said, if you get a chance to look at this venue, it is absolutely amazing. It's the guy his name is Dawson, and he is literally kind of taking everything that a floral designer could ever want in a venue and put it in there.
Wow.
And so it's absolutely magical. I'm super, super eager because a place that you and I both shop at has just signed on to be a partner, which is Bill Doran. Bill Doran is signing on to be a partner with us on it. And I'm super, super just excited about the entire thing.
That's so exciting. Well, I would definitely be there in a heartbeat, but it is my 10-year wedding anniversary. So I can't miss that. Sorry.
I totally understand. You can bring the husband, and we'll put him on stage on the runway show and everything.
I love it. Next time. Ace, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram or TikTok. I'm just starting with the whole TikTok thing. Not sure about it yet. But Instagram at Aceberry, AIFD. And just be looking out for some new cool stuff. I've got some fun stuff fixing to work at the Lovelock Bridge, I believe. Fingers crossed.
Ooh, keep us posted. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Ace. We look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you.